Hello friends, and welcome to our sound check video. We've had to make a few adjustments to how we do business, so I've had to shuffle a few members of my staff around to make sure that people are within my bubble.
Dad, is this what I do to hold the strings on?
Give my brother the guitar.
Hey, could I have my per diem?
Tell my mama not to worry about money quite so much.
And pirouette. Now your turn,
Never
Steven.
turn your back upon a second chance. Never trust a guy.
I am trying to hit the high E.
I know you need to.
Yes, I've been doing my warm-ups. Hopefully you can see me and you can hear me, in which case we're ready to roll.
Hey, Dad, it's almost time for the show.
Cause the ceiling gonna shatter. And believe me when it does.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Kellogg, and I'm here at an undisclosed location.
Well, we'll start with a man who we are always happy to welcome back on the mountainside. This is his 6th visit.
Really excited. Stephen Kellogg is with us.
Singer-songwriter Stephen Kellogg has shared a few singles.
It goes.
Back in the day, used to do 275 days a year on the road.
I'm at the Pace Studios with Stephen Kellogg.
I'd never heard your music before. I really loved it.
The thing is, I have been kicking around here for almost 20 years now, you know.
I know what you're saying.
He does what he does best, which is mine his own life to come up with some truths. Paul Simon does it too. A lot of great writers do it, and I think he's right up there with them.
I'm not a guy that gives up. I never give up.
Sold out show tonight at Wolf Trap. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
I go la 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 la.
Please welcome Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
My name is Stephen Kellogg, professional singer and songwriter. It's better to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to climb than the top of one you don't. I got that from The Office.
There'll be objects in the mirror.
I think Stephen is brave, you know, so as an artist, he's an artist's artist.
As we look back through the looking glass.
His music is pretty much the most honest music I've ever listened to in my life. It's like he's writing in his diary.
Gotta dance like the symphony of joy.
In his music, he exudes optimism, a belief in all our abilities to transcend and persevere.
I always say that he's one of the greatest lyricists of our time.
All the way from the East Coast, Mr. Stephen Kellogg. I got all I ever wanted, but I still cannot believe how I love to take for granted all the love that comes to me, all the love.
So I'm just there to say thank you so much for your service. They're away from their families for much more than we are as musicians.
I've always kind of operated in different genres, so it gave me a chance to kind of indulge that.
After seeing that film about you, Last Man Standing, I have a new appreciation.
Do you remember who we were when all this began?
15 years. I do this because I don't feel that I have an option. And it's also how I feed my family, so.
For me, music just has to say something.
Gonna be the last man standing.
He has also written a book of corresponding essays about life, marriage, and music.
Writing the book is harder than I thought.
Yeah. I'm about to start work on a new project. A series of essays that correspond to a new book.
It's like I got 4 daughters. I want to see them grow up, and I want to dream new dreams. Boom roasted. Here we are, everybody. Los Angeles, 3rd show of Experience Tour 2.0. Welcome to the concert. It's so good to see you guys. It's like a Guns N' Roses show on the East Coast. It starts after 10 o'clock for people in their 40s. God bless. All right, I'm going to take a roll call right now. I would like to personally thank Cheryl Armstrong, Katie Armstrong, Adriana Weisletter, Gina Nisco, Sue Kulig, Katie Brooks, Jamie Jack, Corey Chancellor, Matthew Hansen, and William Hansen. Love you guys. Jamie Fisher, Linz Paul, Colleen Naraki, Elizabeth Norell, Leanne Kruger, Jill Shiorma, Peter Harding, who made that beautiful video that we use as our opener every night. Great filmmaker, California native. Peter, so glad you're tuning in tonight. Amy Dobbs, my old pal. Catherine Anderson, Catherine Roberts, Michelle Halterman, Ron Powell, Reed Hendricks, Brother, You Are Enough. Karen McQueen, Rob and Teresa Oliar, Date Night I Hear. Carol Stanley, Todd Dennett, Matt Merkel, Andrew Roberts, Diane Davis, and Dennis as well, Ross Griffiths, Ron Kepnick, Stephen Munn, Melissa Fitz, Don York, Meredith and Kelly Tolley, Susan Palmieri and Chip Rubenstein, Justin Shady, nice name, love it, Ruth Ann Keene, Kelly Kavanaugh, Sarah Migdal, Tony Stam, Nicole Walsh, Catherine Fuller, Danielle Yellen, Barbara Barchat, Amanda Singer, Michelle Slife, not sure, Nina Reed, Carolyn Bruce, Jane Mark, Yvonne Lee, Elizabeth Norton, Sarah Favorolora. It's a very sensual name. Jessica Harden, Jill Colabella, Nola Hanson, Mark Wild, Kelly Davis, Lissy Bauer, Zerlinda Jesse, James Mershon, Max Selleck, Alyssa Love, Sarah and Joe Guistina. We packed your package today. Kendra Hill, Rachel Hawkins, Deborah Hernandez, Mark and Allie Novitsky, Jonesy down in Atlanta, Melissa Missy Soltero, Tom and Mary Gilding, Colleen Weiler, Allison Hammer, Robert Brenner, Christopher Burkett, Scott Hurley, Julie Fancy, Timothy Walsh, The Panics, Jeff and Claire Valder, Britt Nisco, my beautiful sister Jordan Kellogg and her dashing boyfriend Jonathan Greenbergs, our presenting partners, Home Vibe, featuring their all-star Mike Ligon, who was a part of my team for so long. Home Vibe out of Denver, Colorado. We're so honored to have you guys as our presenting partners. I hope that I never, ever get sick of the roll call or forget to acknowledge that those are the people that bought tickets to tonight's show. Thank you so much for giving me a job, for being here. I love you so much. Thank you for that. All right. Now, it's time to get the show underway. It's late for those of us on the East Coast, and the rock and roll must ensue. So we're going to start tonight with an old song about friendship and perseverance. And here you go. Moonlight, highway, quicksand, trying to pull us off the road. You don't succeed by giving up, that's one thing I know. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry you got sick, that I wasn't there. And if I acted like a dick, it didn't mean I didn't care. And I've been chasing dreams in magazines the last 10 years. The way you treat your mother is up to you. But it can't feel all that good to be so angry, and I guess I learned that too. Jessica's afraid she won't find love. She says that she ain't ever home. Feels like just last night when I swear I heard her say, she said, what if I die alone? It's a broken-hearted attitude, but it kind of fits right in to this movie about all of us that's still waiting to begin. I've been chasing dreams in magazines the last 10 years, and the way you treat your lover is up to you. But it can't feel all that good to be so jealous, and I guess I learned that too. And this will change in time. We'll feel more alive, because protection is like a wheel, and the way you sometimes feel
can make you think you might even be the worst person you'll ever meet. But it's alright, 'cause we got each other, yeah. We got each other. We've got each other. See, I've been chasing dreams in magazines more than 10 years. And the way we treat each other, well, that's up to us. But it can't feel all that good to just be scared, to feel like we're enough. Oh, to feel like we're enough. Yeah, I guess I learned that too. I guess I learned that too. And I'm learning it still. I'm learning to give those children roots and wings. Give those children roots and wings. I could feel you. I could feel you in ways you have no idea. Give those children roots and wings. Don't ever fear the change it brings. There is no reason to be sad. Be thankful for the time you have. When I was a younger guy one autumn night, I told a lie, and my daddy shook his head and sighed. He said, boy, one day you'll know what it's like to give your children roots and wings. Not to fear the change it brings, to tell the truth and be a man, to always do the best you can. Now my mother, well, she set me free from all those locks that once held me. She whispered in my infant ears, baby, you are wise beyond your years. So even on my darkest nights, I felt the ground and I seen the heights. One day may you do the same. Oh, child of mine, bears my name. I said, may you feel your roots and wings. With these you can do anything. You will never be alone. You'll be carried, oh, you'll be carried home, yeah. Soul, my mama says so. She says, son, you move up, you're a fighter, I know. You will see, oh, that life isn't free, and everyone dies eventually. I see gravity, you've been knocking me out. You're shaking us up till we twist and we shout. Whoa, gravity, it's okay in the clouds, but I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground. Celebrate before it's too late. Your fear of the future, well, that's your greatest mistake. And there's a song, we sing it out loud. Ain't nothing as sweet as a West Coast crowd. All right now, gravity, you're knocking me out. You're shaking me up till I twist and I shout. Whoa, gravity, It's okay in the clouds, but I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground, yeah. Say, ayo, ayo. Say, ayo, yeah. Ayo, yeah. Say, ah, ah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ayo, ayo. Ayo, yeah. Ayo, yeah. Ah, 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 yeah. Now, gravity's trying to bring my guitar strings and their tuning down. I got two strings left in tune right now. But we never say die in this piece. We never say die. So we're just gonna sing it for hope. I said, gravity, you've been knocking me out. You've been shaking me up till I twist and I shout. Oh yeah, I said, gravity, it's okay in the clouds, but I love it right here with my feet up on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground. And I'm singing gravity, oh, you've been knocking me out. Yeah, you're just shaking me up till I twist and I shout. Oh, gravity, it's okay in the clouds, but I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on the ground. And I love it right here with my feet on the ground. I love it right here with my feet on this ground. And I love it right here with my feet on the ground.
Good Lord. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, gravity just pulled my strings right down for my 3-song thing. That's what I want to know. You know, you watch a great Springsteen show, and the guy just plays song after song after song after song, and I guess it goes out of tune. Maybe there's so many people playing, but anyway, we're in tune. Tonight is our Los Angeles show. My thoughts are with everybody in California on the West Coast. These fires, they're really scary, and just know we're checking in on you. We're here for you. I mean, there's nothing we can do to be fully with you, but I just want you to know that on the East Coast and around the world, we're all watching and we're all thinking of you. And there's a lot of you tuned in tonight, and that means a lot to me, and I just want to play an extra. I want you to know that I'm with you tonight. Los Angeles is an interesting city because I had a mixed relationship with it for a lot of years. I had a very bad attitude about LA because there's a lot of fake people out there, too, you know, and you'd go into the Starbucks and the person serving you the coffee would be the coolest looking person you ever met, and then you'd start to feel insecure. So if you carry a lot of insecurity, as I do, I found Los Angeles daunting for many, many years, and so I had a pretty terrible attitude about it. And at some point, I started realizing that many of the most creative people in the world live there. And I went and I made a record there, and I got a label there, and I started spending a lot more time, and I realized that my feelings about LA had a lot more to do with me than with the people that I was surrounded by. But one of my favorite, and I loved all my years playing the Troubadour, the Roxy, Hotel Cafe, all those great places. But one of my favorite LA memories, and I'm not just saying this because she's tuned in tonight, but was when I wrote my new book, Objects in the Mirror, Thoughts on a Perfect Life from an Imperfect Person. it all started at Musso and Frank Grill with my editor, Carol Stanley. And we walked in and we'd never met. And I saw a woman in the back of the place. And I was like, I don't think that's her. So I sat down at a different table, and we were the only two people in there, and we were texting each other like, are you here? Like, okay, yeah, here's where I am. And we were looking for each other. And I just love Musso and Frank Grill. What was the show with Michael Douglas that just recently made that famous again? The Comiskey Project. Great show. And it started a process that ended up taking me 4 years, but my book is finished. It's out. And Carol, thank you for taking me to Musso and Frank Grill for a distinctly Hollywood moment. And just, that's awesome. Just be careful. All right, shall we do some requests? Let's do some requests. I've got the request. It's highly official. Here we go. Okay. Milwaukee, done. Did it. Should I just go home now? Should I go home? No, I'm gonna play a bunch of requests, but I see one on here that got multiple votes, and I've been itching to play this song. It feels very distinctly California to me right now. So. I wrote this song as a tribute to my favorite musician, Tom Petty, who, although not a California native originally, I think loved the city as much as anybody. And I'm sure he is dancing around those flames, and he'll Tom, if you're listening, we love you. And see our friends on the West Coast through this moment.
Oh, Ryan, I could see you looking down. Small houses that we built into the ground. At a distance, you can't see what's falling down. If you're up close, you can almost hear the sound of summer. I remember we would pack our things into the car. Though we never got too far, it's a wonder to discover how the winter finds its way to spring. Being young meant everything in the summer. Constellations, are you laughing at us all? We rage as we watch our heroes fall. If they're up there, remember them to me like my grandpa on the beach of Normandy in the summer. We remember that Orion's sword is burning out. Lovers long forgotten, now they were mothers who discovered how the winter finds its way to spring. Your parents don't know everything in the summer. Whoa, the stars are still the same. They see all of our pain. Oh, they can't do anything, and slowly they explode. To be young and insecure, that is the trade-off. It's the cost of wanting more every summer. Remember to pack your things into the car, and if you never get too far, take a number. Discover you'll be doing what your parents did. Don't you dare forget a kid in the summer. I remember that Orion's sword is burning out. All will be forgotten now in the summer. Thank you very much. You never do get used to the roar of the crowd. I see a song on here that I had a dream about the other day. I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know if I remember it, but I'll try. My dream the other day was that this song had been recorded by my friends in OAR, who have recorded some songs that I've had a hand in writing. But they had changed the title slightly, and they changed it to, song's called Maria, and they had changed it to Oh Hi, Hi Maria, which I think is actually kind of a cooler title. And maybe we write that song, but I was very mad at OAR because I hadn't been credited except in this very random way. And there was a video of them in my mind, of course. It's funny, you get mad, like if you cheat on your husband or your wife in a dream, and then you wake up and you're like, well, I had a bad dream, and you cheated on me, and you're like mad at the person. I kind of woke up with an angsty feeling about OAR, who are some of my best buds. But Jerry was on this infomercial. Jerry's in the band OAR, and he was like, if you pick up this vinyl of Oh Hi, Hi Maria and you don't like it, we'll send you $2. It was weird. But it did feel real. So here we go, Maria. Like a brown-eyed tornado coming through the Midwest, she walked into my scene, and you know the rest. I heard she never got the letters that I sent. I got a few from her, and I wondered how she'd been. She said, babe, I always kinda like the way you talk, how you give away the gold like it was any other rock. Maria, how you come around and throw your bad advice at me, 'cause you're up on a pedestal, sparks and electricity. Maria, I would settle down, and I need to desperately, but I will never get enough of these things that are killing me. Once upon an idea, I love the girls like you. Sleepless nights and blowout fights, they seem funny too. Eventually the charm, well, it always would wear off, and the price I paid always outweighed any other costs. Yeah, but babe, I always kinda like the way you talk, how you give away the gold like it was any other rock. Maria, how you come around and throw your bad advice at me. Baby, you're up on a pedestal, sparks and electricity. Maria, I would settle down, and I need to desperately, but I will never get enough of these things that are killing me. Though she's just a little girl, she's an undertow to me. The harder that you swivel against, the further you end up out at sea. Yeah, Maria, how you come around and throw your bad advice at me. You're up on a pedestal, sparks and electricity. Yeah, Maria, I would settle down, oh, and I did too desperately. But I will never get enough of these things that are killing me. Oh no, well I will never get enough. I will never, no, no, I will never get enough of these things that are killing me. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you very much. Now listen, I'm going to do a few more requests. Of course I am. But first, for the first time ever, I'd like to introduce a segment of the show called Soft Shoe with SK. Just kidding. No. What I would like to do is I would like to, I know you asked some questions beforehand, and we have a segment that was originally, this is the first ever, it was called Q&A with the Kids. But I've talked to my host, and we think it should be called Q&A with SK. So please welcome my host, the wonderful Sophia Kellogg.
Hi, everybody. Hey, SK.
How you doing, SK?
I'm good. How are you, SK?
I'm good, SK. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, getting right into our questions. So Eric from Loveland, Colorado wants to know, what do you miss the most about being on the road, and what is one thing you've learned by being home during COVID?
Okay. Good question, Eric. Double question. The
Very
double
good.
question. Okay. Well, the thing I miss the most about the road is that I miss the camaraderie that happens, after and before the show. And then no offense to you guys. I mean, the audience is great, but I miss, part of me has always loved that I get to be an adult who doesn't have to be an adult. I still have sleepover parties. I still, take naps in the day when I'm on the road. There's just laughs that happen late night. And I think sometimes we get to taking ourselves so seriously as adults that doesn't happen. And I love that, And in terms of what I've learned being home more during quarantine, if you've read my book or heard me tell this story, you've heard me talk about I get in an argument with my wife, and I'm like, hey, am I a dick? She says, you're a dick. And I say, am I a dick, or am I just acting like a dick? And she, decides that I'm just acting like a dick. And being home during COVID actually makes me feel like I might actually be a dick. It's a lot of you can't hide. Like when you're on the road, you allow someone to miss you. And I'm not sure that I'm miss-worthy. What else? What else do the people want to know?
Well, Dawn in California wants to know, is there a song that was so difficult to write and such a relief to be free of that it's hard for you to sing, or that you've never recorded once it was done?
Dawn.
That's a great question.
Dawn. That's a great song. A great question. Yeah. Well, songs are hard to write for different reasons. I think of Ingrid's song that I wrote for my mother-in-law when she passed away. And to your point about relief, I had written her a silly song while she was alive called Ingy Bingy Boingo.
that she appreciated because she was a great woman. But in a way, I regretted that I hadn't written her a more fitting tribute, you know? And so writing that song, I remember every line was just you're just sobbing over the paper. And it was a relief to finally say, like, okay, I hope you know that this happened too. And we wrote it. And so that was a relief. And there's a lot of songs that are hard for me to sing, you know? There's a ton that are hard to sing. It doesn't mean I don't like to sing them, because I actually sort of like to dive into the deep emotional well.
I can confirm that one.
Yeah, I know. You know that about me. And I've tried to instill in my daughters, like, Daddy just cries sometimes. It's okay.
It's no big deal.
Yeah. So, no, I guess that's how I'd answer that question.
Yeah. And then Allison Hammer from Chicago, Illinois wants to know, when writing songs, do you start with the lyrics or the music first?
Let's take a minute on Allison Hammer. Okay. You'll see Allison Hammer's debut novel right down here on my bookshelf. It's called You and Me and Us by Allison Hammer. It's on HarperCollins or William Morrow, which may be the same. It's weird. Everybody owns everybody. She wrote a great novel that I cried a lot during, and she and I may be cooking something up for you guys. So that's who's asking this question. I love that you're tuned in tonight, Allison from Chicago, and thank you for that. And everybody who's looking for like a great, motivating, wonderful book, go on Amazon and pick this up. Okay. So, what was the question again?
The question was, when writing songs, do you start with the lyrics or the music first?
Well, SK, I often start with the lyrics because that's what I care about. For the longest time, this is going to get me in trouble, but I know everybody loves Wilco, and I just was like, I don't know, this is kind of, I couldn't get into it, and I couldn't figure out why, because clearly they're great musicians, and I love the ethos of Jeff Tweedy, but I couldn't figure out why I wasn't into it. I felt very uncool. And then there's very cheesy country that everybody that I pretty much have ever played in a band with is like, Kellogg, you are killing me with putting this on in the van. But I'd be crying. I'd be like, this is great. And it took me until my late 30s to realize I love this because the lyrics matter to me. What the singer is saying and how much weight that has is what means the most to me. Now, we're all different, you know? But that made me realize why I could get into songs where the production was terrible, and then stuff that was really cool was a little boring for me, you know? I needed songs that I could like grab onto the meaning of, probably to a fault, you know? So for me, it was always lyrics first, but one of the things I'm doing and trying to grow, Allison, is I'm trying to write songs with a melody, because some of my songs that might have been bigger songs maybe didn't have a strong enough melody, you know, because I didn't take that time. So in my middle age here, I'm growing and learning, and I'm trying to get to a place where I can, do some other things and write music first a little bit too, and get into that. But yeah, SK, I gotta say, you're the Barbara Walters of this household.
Thank you, as are you.
Ladies and gentlemen, SK Jr. here.
SK.
Thank you for being
here. Enjoy the show,
here.
everybody.
Thank you, buddy. Love you. Love it. Okay, so fun. Okay. All right, lovers. It's time for a love song. It's time for a love song. This was a picture taken at the beginning of quarantine. Let's see, I'm going to look on the request list for a love song here. Okay. Not a lot of love songs tonight. You guys are like, it's late. We don't need love songs. All right, I'm going to do this one. This was a song I wrote with Lori McKenna. She pours a glass of good red wine. Do you mind, he says, and does the same. The
wall stares back at strangers from its frame in these familiar rooms where they watch the years go by. Somewhere along the way, they both stop trying to try. And in his mind, he can still see her in that black dress he adored. Her girlfriends all looked up to her, and the men row his floor. She interrupts his daydream with a question of her own. For the first time in a long, long time, he doesn't feel like he's alone. And she said, why did you never take me to Paris or write my name in the stars? Why, when you see that I need the most, don't you try and take me in your arms, whispering sweet consolations as if the die weren't cast? He looked surprised and said, I guess it's 'cause you never asked. You never asked. You never asked. There's nothing that I can do that could change the past. And in her mind, she can still see him on his graduation day, with a beard and horn-rimmed glasses and a smile that seemed to say, you will never want for anything if you stick close by me. He interrupts her daydream, says, I know what you mean. But why do you roll your eyes at my stories and the jokes that you used to like? Why do you turn away from me when I lie down beside you at night, when my confidence is shaking? Why don't you build me up from scratch? She looked surprised and said, I guess it's 'cause you never asked. You never asked. You never asked. There's nothing that we can do that can change the past. So right now I'm asking, do you love me? Right now I'm asking, do you still give a damn? How should I know? Thank God for red wine and an antique kitchen light. Lest the shadows dance across the floor and hit both their faces just right. Till they're saying, why don't we take a blanket out back and watch the stars from our lawn? We can't pretend it's the banks of the Seine, laugh at those dumb old stories till just before dawn. Then we'll make it like the first time, or as if it were our last. We'll answer every question we were too afraid to ask, 'cause the answer's always no if you never dare to ask. Love you, darling. There's a love song. Hope you're getting lucky out there in LA tonight. I'm going to do one more song before we have a brief interlude. This is called The Deep Cuts. This is my manager, literally my manager of the last 6.5 years, and my tour manager of 10 years before that. She does happen to be my cousin, but here she is. And I don't know what's in whatever I'm holding, but it damn well looks like an envelope full of cash. I'm like, you stick with me. And 40 years from now, I got an envelope. Could be full of hundreds or ones. Who knows? I'm so lucky to have a manager I've been in this for a long time with. And it's for that reason primarily that I'm going to go deep tonight. I'm going to actually take out the songbook because I need a little, I'm going to need the songbook for what I'm about to try. It's just not something I play very much. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it because it's a deep cut, and it's the Deep Cut Hour with SK. On the late night, this is like when I used to stay up. I used to stay up and listen to Casey 101 here in Connecticut because at, I think, 10, there would be like kind of a racy John Tesh who would come on the show and answer questions like, my boyfriend doesn't love me anymore. We haven't made love in forever. And even at a young age, I thought, I'm going to listen to this. I want to know. And Kirsten's nodding. She's the producer of this show, my wife now. But she's nodding because she's like, yeah, that's how he became who he became. Okay. This could go any number of ways. I'm going to try it. I make no promises for perfection. Every show is different. That's why I try these songs so that next show I get to play some more ones that I know. I'm going to do this. Then we're going to have an interlude. Then you're all going to be on your way. You're going to have Hot Pockets. It's going to be great. Okay. Try it. No matter how many times we've done this, and we've done it so many times, it never does get easier when it's time to say goodbye. And I wear your memory underneath my shirt like an Indian tattoo, crushed by conscience in a mental slideshow, a dream of kissing you. And it's the sweetest goodbye when I get home. We're gonna sleep all day, you and I. Yeah, right. And if you never left, you'd never know why you had to go in the first place. I picture your sweet face, the sweetest goodbye, the sweetest goodbye. Now there's two of you that I find myself saying goodbye to, and at night the three of us are in my head before I sleep. I know we need the money, but I hope it doesn't show, 'cause whatever I got coming comes to me when we're alone. It's the sweetest goodbye when I get home. We're gonna sleep all day, you and I. If you never left, you would never know why you had to go in the first place. I picture your sweet face, I picture your sweet face, the sweetest goodbye, the sweetest goodbye, oh, the sweetest goodbye. The sweetest goodbye. Every second of every minute of every hour of every day, I'm thinking of the things that I could say to make you miss me when I went away. the sweetest goodbye. It's the sweetest goodbye. The sweetest goodbye. Oh, the sweetest goodbye. And how it changes over the years, it just changes. Yeah, oh, the sweetest goodbye. Deep cut. The Sweetest Goodbye, track 5 from 2007's Glassjaw Boxer album. Thank you so much for asking for that song. And now I am going to move to a portion of these particular shows. We're doing interviews on some of them. And tonight, we have my friend Matt Nathanson. I've been friends with him for 20 years. I think he's one of the great lyricists in songwriting today. He's driven. I met him many, many years ago. We bonded over a love of 80s metal. And this was us actually last time I was in California having a conversation. And this was the last time I saw him. We were on NPR's Mountain Stage together. We've been friends a long time. And here's the thing. If you get uncomfortable with bad language, that's just kind of Matt's way. So now would be a good time to go do your hair or have a sandwich, freshen your cocktail, take a leak, do whatever. The other thing I will say is that if you're one of those people that think artists shouldn't have opinions and you get mad when you do, you're here to entertain us. No, we're not. We're just people. I'll give you that when you go in to see your dentist. You don't want them to go, can you believe the situation? But I think artists are here to express themselves and raise awareness. And so I'm a person first. We're all people first. And I believe that if you don't like what an artist has to say, you don't have to listen to what they have to say. You can still like their music or not. Matt makes that point in a really interesting way in the interview I'm about to share with you. This was a 2-hour conversation. It's the longest interview I've aired so far. I'm not going to air 2 hours, don't worry. I've cut it down to less than 20 minutes. But I heard from someone last week, Bull in a China Shop, your interview was too long. And they didn't know who I was interviewing when they made that comment. And it really rattled me for a couple days. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not a fucking puppet. I'm getting you used to what you're about to see. I know that families tune in. We're still who we are. But I wouldn't share this if I didn't think Matt had some really incredibly valuable things to say. So it's not gratuitous swearing. And if you need a break, or if you're uncomfortable with politics or you're uncomfortable with swearing, take a break. Not trying to be argumentative here, but I believe in this artist. I believe in what he had to say. I'm honored to have him on the show. So without further ado, please enjoy a conversation I had earlier this week with my friend Matt Nathanson.
Matt Nathanson, my friend, my pal. How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm trying to block the lights with my body, so I'm not like look at that.
It's incandescent.
It's this one and then that one. It's like, oh, this is the one. Okay, yeah. Hit me. Anything you got?
It's like an ad though. You got. So is this your office that we're seeing? You got.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at my armpit light.
I'm in my teenage daughter. I'm in Sophia's bedroom because it's the only quiet place I could find today. Literally, like I've been wandering around the house looking for. So she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Get out of here."
I like your wall hanging, or her wall hanging.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not bad. We got a beanbag chair, furry beanbag chair back over there. It's all.
Do you have trouble with your cats pissing on that beanbag chair?
Not anymore because she's on Prozac.
Oh, strong.
But initially, yes. Initially, we had trouble with her pissing. Actually, you and I talked a lot about it.
Yeah. But the beanbag chair is like a very vulnerable spot for cat piss.
But you said your vinyl records as well were, or something?
Oh, dude, it's everything. Nothing's off limits when Mr. Beasley decides he wants to throw his stink.
Does it happen a lot?
No, it just depends on. There's other cats now that live kind of in our back. we share a backyard with with 3 other families. Like our backyard walks up to their backyard, which then walks across. It's like in the city, it's like having a big backyard. So we have our own space, but then so their cats come down and Mr. Beasley gets bent out of shape about it. And he'll just sort of like look at them. And I think he's sort of passive aggressively. He's like, well, I'll show you. And
so it's actually like a fairly, there's like a logic to why Mr. Beasley pisses on things. Like he's like being territorial and stuff, but in our case, we don't.
Yeah, you had a real problem. I had a friend whose cat was a pisser like that, like pissing on beds and shit. And oh my God, look at I'm trying to get this. I'm just going to keep the light the way it is, ethereal.
No, yeah, it's cool. It's not bothering me, but. All right. Here's a question for you. And I'm not trying to be cute with this question, but.
Don't be cute.
In what ways is this all so much? I don't want to, I'm loading the dice before I've even asked the question. In what ways is where you're at now different than what you thought, the business you thought you were getting into, the business you're in? Can you talk about like
me specifically, my business or the business?
No, you specifically. Ooh. Your like journey into music. Obviously you had huge dreams. You've achieved a ton, but I'm just curious, like what's it like from where you sort of like began getting into this to where it is now? How is it different?
I don't think it's changed for me at all in terms of what I do. It's all the same. It's like you're trying to, that music is everything. And so you're trying to be in service of the music, and you're trying to be in service of the greatness of the legacy of music that you love. And so every time I write a song, I'm just trying to write the best song I can possibly write. That's been the case since the beginning. Mm-hmm. Of course, obviously the best song you can write is subjective, but like, when you just want to do right by the song. That's all. And so that really hasn't changed at all since the beginning for me. I feel like I give it I give every song 1,000,000% once I decide that it's a song that I want to give 1,000,000% to. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in that respect, it hasn't changed at all.
Is it more work? I mean, did you know that it was going to be this much work?
It's not work. Like work would be like, I got to go cut a bunch of plants in the front. That feels like work. Although I'm psyched to do it because I'm trying to think like it never feels like work. Sometimes it feels like, I equate it to growth as a human being. Sometimes I think I just don't mind if I die today. So that happens quite a bit. Not in the way that like in the past where I thought I want to kill myself, mm-hmm. but more in the way that like, yeah, man, if I had an aneurysm right now and fucking drop dead, I'm good. Because, and everybody's like, that's so dark. And it's like, no, because life is a learning curve. Like it's entirely a learning curve till you die. All I want to do is get better. I want to be able to be more vulnerable. I want to be able to be more empathetic. And so there's not a whole lot of like, a lot of people take breaks and do things. I don't really do that. I feel like, what's the way to put it? I'm constantly in motion towards the goal of evolving, mm-hmm. And changing. And so the songwriting is the same thing. It's like, so is it work? I guess so. Like, and if I died tomorrow, would I be bummed that I didn't get to the stuff I didn't get to? It's like, yeah, I'd be bummed, but I wouldn't have to do the work anymore if we're going to call it work. So I wouldn't have to do the work.
Be okay if you're like, if you've got,
fuck yeah,
you got 30 seconds, you're like, and you're saying, all right, this was what it was. Like, I'm cool.
Yeah, because, but I'm also psyched to do the work of the rest of my life. Like, yeah. I'm psyched to figure out how to be more vulnerable with my wife. I'm psyched to figure out, how to get to be more empathetic, how to shed more of my baggage that happened when I was a kid. All that kind of shit is super important, and it's the only way I want to live. I'm not going to and so in that process, writing songs is the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's work. I mean, I sit down and I bear into it and try and find a way to be a conduit for it, but at the same time craft it. So yeah, there's work involved, but it's like, what else am I gonna, what else is it worth getting up for? You know, like there's no other reason to wake up.
Well, and so what about the other stuff? Because I mean, you and I share a love for 80s metal. And that was one of our first points that we bonded over 20 years ago. And I can only speak for myself, but I thought there would be like a part where you coast a little bit, or where touring became less of like a physical grind on the body and stuff. So I hear what you're saying about all like the aesthetic and the sort of the life work, the real work, and the legacy that you're building with your body of work. But what about the other stuff? Like,
but that all gets more efficient as well in the process of doing all this stuff. It becomes less compartmentalized, which is exhausting, which is like, I'm leaving now, I'm home now, I'm writing now, I'm in the studio now. The whole process is, I'm trying to get it to be holistic so that it doesn't feel like heavy lifting. The parts that are heavy lifting, like being gone, you know, all that kind of stuff, which is not the case now. But I've over the last bunch of years, I fired my last manager at a certain point, which was super crucial because he was not particularly good at his job in the way that and my new management, what they do is they want to facilitate where everything feels holistic and feels like it's a part of something. And that's really how life should be. It should all be in service of the greater good of yourself and your place in the universe. Do you know what I mean? And so touring to me it can be a grind, but it's way less of a grind than it was when I drove my car around. And it's way less of a grind since I've started to be able to delegate things for people to do, so I don't have to do them. Right, when I used to micromanage, and when I used to think I had to be a part of all decisions, but I've sort of, as I've learned, as I've gotten older, I figure out what I'm really good at, number one, and number two, what I feel safe and, surrendering to other people. And then, and in that respect, touring and existing in this frame has gotten easier. You know what I mean? So I couldn't be happier with that part of it. It's like there are moments that suck. It's not like it's all great. But again, all those moments are learning moments. Like we've had conversations about tours I've been on where the headliner was sort of a cock about something, or not cool, or swung their ego around, and I had to kind of figure out like, I thought we were friends, and it's like, oh, okay. And then and that's like a great learning moment, because you're like, how do I not necessarily vilify these people, but I want to also just sort of come to terms with the fact that like people look out for themselves, and then that ties into how I am as a human. It's like everything is so connected that it's all just this great trip of like, well, fuck, if I can get past my reactionary self, then this whole thing is going to be, this is going to add value to my human experience. Yeah.
No, I mean, I hear you. And when you talk about the reactionary self, I can't help but think of myself 2 nights ago. I'm with Kirsten, and she's like, you are in such a bad mood. What's like, and everything in my intellect knew that I was the one ruining everything. Like I just could not will myself into a more positive frame of mind and not kind of.
That's hard to do.
Vibes, Yeah, it was super hard to do. And eventually she's just like, well, I'm going to leave you. And I was like, not leave me, but leave me for the moment. And she did. And then you find your way through it. But it's hard to not be like, there's fire in here, Well, and you bring shame and guilt down on yourself for feeling a certain way, which is like, that's no good. That's like that's a real specific way to not solve the problem. Like, because you're essentially trying to take a shit. You're trying to take an emotional shit. And like you're stuffing like carrots up your ass. Do you know what I mean? And carrots being guilt and shame. And then it's like, not only do you have to shit, now you have to shit past your guilt and your shame. It's like. Exactly. No, I knew you'd have a way of phrasing it that would make it clearer. And that's it. So then I want to, is that a carrot?
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, cool. I want to ask you about this. I've texted you a few times because I've been really moved and inspired by you've been a lot of, social consciousness and political stances. You've been bold, and especially in the last year. Maybe to me, I don't know if that was a conscious shift to share more of what you think about things, or if I wasn't paying close enough attention earlier. But I feel like you share a lot of viewpoints that I happen to agree with, but you find new creative ways to say them. To me, it feels like you do it more than I've ever seen. I mean, that's a lot of the diet of what is coming from you, and I respect it, and I thank you for doing it. And sometimes I text you and say, thanks for saying what I couldn't will myself to kind of arrive at as well, and so it's impressive. Do you know what I'm talking about? Was that a conscious shift?
I think I've always done it. I think since George Floyd, and since we've come really down a certain part of the funnel. It's funny, I see other artists post it, and I've always been self-conscious because it's not my brand. I'm not selling my brand because I don't really believe it. I don't really know how that even works. That's like definitely one of my blind spots. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm not as successful, is that Mayer is very good at knowing brand. Mayer or Mraz, any of these people who are above us on the food chain. Mm-hmm. It's like they've always known pretty well how they can sort of like hone their craft to be a certain way, so that it's like you get, what you get. And so, and part of that is really something I envy when they do it creatively. I think that's really powerful, but I'm just not that way creatively, unfortunately. And I'm definitely not that way in the way I present myself, because again, I think it through, but I just feel like if I have any platform at all, it's important that I shine a light on the things that are important to me, and I've vetted, and I think are not based on the party you're a part of, but just humanity based shit. So saying Black Lives Matter, saying trans lives matter, saying vote our fucking terrible president out of office, like all that stuff is that's not based on party. I don't give a shit if he's a Republican or a fucking, it's like he's a terrible leader. And he does things that are destructive to people's lives, and that's not cool. And then somebody, everyone says, well, so did Obama. It's like, yeah, well, I wasn't standing on a street corner yelling Obama's the best. Although Obama, compared to, Obama was pretty fucking ironclad on a lot of levels. But it's like, but on a lot of levels, things didn't get done. It's like, and that's not his fault. It's like, again, I'm not a fucking politician. I don't even know about politics. I just know that Donald Trump's trash. And it's not from watching the news. I don't watch the news. I haven't seen a fucking news broadcast in 3 fucking years. It's like, I watch what comes out of people's mouths. And like when you see police shooting fucking black men in the back when there's a video camera on them, that's like not how I want the police to be. And so it's like, does that mean that the police need to be defunded? Fuck yeah. So you can take some money out of that organization and you can start giving it to other organizations that can come in instead of the police to solve things that the police are not equipped to do. It's like, you don't ask it's like, if the only 2 tools I have are a fucking hammer and a chainsaw, you're not going to want me to come put a window in at your house. Like, that's just a fact. So it's like, and the police literally, they are trained to be a very specific thing, yet we have put this burden on them to do many other things that they're not only not equipped to do, but not capable of doing. And so it's like, go.
Well, I was going to say, do you feel like, I mean, you certainly help me better understand points of view that I have. When I read your post, your posts are often thoughtful and a little bit, even that analogy you just used with the putting a window in, it's like, oh, okay. Like that makes a good bit of sense. Like maybe this one organization shouldn't be in charge of all this stuff. But when you say it that way, it makes sense. But do you feel, so it helps me, But to what degree do people's minds change, or does it? How many switches get flipped? How much of your energy just must get spent dealing with people switching back? None. Really?
Well, I kill the comments because I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about it. I don't give a shit what fucking.
You don't read them, or you just like they're not.
I stop them. I turn them off. I don't give a shit. Like I'm not doing it to educate. I'm doing it because I feel compelled to do it. I don't want to have a fucking discussion with some motherfucker on a 2-dimensional platform about something that I have no idea what their life is like and the experiences that they've experienced, which then have led to them being who they are and the limits in that. And the same thing with me. I don't need to discuss. It's not a fucking forum. I don't give a shit what you think. It's like, I'm not here to I'm not a fucking professor. I'm not your fucking boss. I'm not fucking anybody. So when people say to me, I'm disappointed, it's like, well, you should fucking change your attitude and your outlook and what you're expecting of me. I'm not your friend. Don't be fucking disappointed. Be disappointed in your mom. That's her fucking job, or your dad. It's like, I'm just a guy who plays songs that you like. So like, if I happen to say shit, and I've said it to friends of mine who've been like, you're going real hard to the hoop on social media. It's like, yeah, man, I wouldn't follow me. If I was a fucking I love Ted Nugent. I love Ted Nugent. And it's like, I most certainly don't follow Ted Nugent on social media. Like, I think Stranglehold is a fucking great song, independent of the fact that it's a fucking song about beating a woman, right? Like, there's many contradictions that we can hold in our head, right? I think Ted Nugent's a great guitar player. I love some songs. I love Appetite for Destruction, one of my favorite records of all time. Misogyny and disgustingness all throughout it. So it's like, if I can hold that in my head, then I can also hold the fact that, like, man, and so when people say you should stick to music, I say, maybe you should stick to my music, because like, I'm not your guy in this way. And like, it's cool. I don't need a fucking friend. I don't need anything. It's like, and if I'm disrespecting you by sticking up for somebody who has been stepped on by society, that's not my problem. Like that's not actually my problem.
I got you, man. I got you. I know. Well, you'll be pleased to know that the other day I got some more books delivered. I wrote a book. We talked about that. And the dude came up to me when I was signing for the pallet of books. He's like, and I had sunglasses on. He goes, I thought you were Sammy Hagar. And I'm like, Sammy's a good bit older than me, has much different hair. But I mean, I liked that there was something in the fabric. And I thought you should know that. I wanted you.
Oh my God, I love it. Definitely Sam, for like a 70-something-year-old dude, looks real good. So he is.
So I shouldn't feel as bad at 43 that this guy's like, I thought you were. He's like, I was thinking for a minute, is this Sammy Hagar? And I'm like,
well,
really?
And he might be dealing with the 40-year-old Sammy Hagar. You know, he might still be thinking, I can't drive 55 Sammy Hagar.
Which makes it even more of a compliment. It's great.
Dude.
So Matt, without further ado, let me say goodbye, so long, farewell, avitas, and good night. No, thank you so much, buddy. Take care of yourself. Love to your crew, and see you soon.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Steven. Talk to you soon. Love you.
Matt Nathanson, ladies and gentlemen. As I tell my own children, I said, look, if you swear out in the world, I can't protect you. I can't, if you come home from 4th grade and your teacher says you're swearing, I can't justify it. But I have found these words very useful in my own life. Matt Nathanson, friends, I hope you enjoyed his insights. And if not, that's okay too. But it's now time for today's good news. And here's today's good news. A 62-year-old python lays eggs 15 years after last encounter with a male. Think about that. That could mean that the Kellogg's 15 years from now could have a 5th daughter. It's possible. It's possible. I related to this python in strange ways when I read this news, but and the St. Louis Zoo where this happened said, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Like, how did she become pregnant? Did a python sneak in and impregnate her? And, you know, I don't know. It's fodder. It's grist for the mill. There you go. All those of you living with COVID, people talked a lot about how people were going to be getting getting crazy a lot, and I wonder if that's actually the case. I think being home all the time kind of can be tougher on the libido. But anyway, what? Okay, all right. Moving on to the grand finale. I want to sing this song tonight. This is a song I just had Matt on here. He and I both had dreams of stadiums. And I've been blessed enough that I have gotten to play some stadiums and big places. Not stadiums, but big places. Lots of people. I just sounded like Trump. I'm like, I'm very important. Anyway, so no. But I have gotten to play to large audiences over the course of my life. It occurs to me that some of the songs I've written are not necessarily they're theater songs more than stadium songs. But this song that I'm about to play has been the most requested song in my career, and it's a sing-along, and it was meant for stadiums. So I'm going to ask, this is a big ask. It's late, all the rest. I'm going to ask you to tag yourself singing this song along with me. The lyrics never change. The chorus is the same every time. Sing along with me. I can feel you. I want to feel you. And if we do this together, even if it's a little embarrassing, it just kind of says we're that much more badass. My favorite place. Here we go, friends. Well, I gotta get back to the city where the sound is the subway at night. People I see on the crowded streets helps me to feel more alive. And I have gotta get back to the country where the sound is the song of the spring. Kids in the town and just running around, and it helps me to feel like I'm free. And this is my favorite place. My worry slips away. I could stay here for days and days and days and days and days. This is my favorite place. My worry slips away. Well, it's time I was getting back home, where the sound is the song in my heart. All the places I go, I always know home is wherever you are. And this is my favorite place. My worry slips away. I could stay here for days and days and days and days and days. This is my favorite place. My worry slips away. I could stay here for days and days and days and days, days and days and days and days and days. All the places I go, I always know home is wherever. Home is wherever. Home is wherever. Home looks like LA tonight. This is my favorite place, and my worry slips away. I could stay here for days and days and days and days and days. This is my favorite place, and it's written on my face. I could stay here for days and days and days
This is my favorite place. This is my favorite place. Love, 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 love. This is my, oh baby, you're mine. Wherever is your favorite place. You are my, oh baby, you're mine. Oh, you are my favorite place. This is mine, oh, this is mine. Oh, you are my favorite place. Honey, you're mine, oh, baby, you're mine. In your arms is my favorite place. This is my favorite place. Well, I must say, strike me dead. I am shocked, but thank you for this encore. I would love to play an encore. I figure it's if you're on the East Coast, it's late, and if you're still up and you're still here, then here we go. If you're on the West Coast, this one's for you. We have a couple more shows coming up. We're trying to do one a month on kind of West Coast time for some of you guys, or at least Mountain Zone time, if not fully West Coast time. Our next couple shows. Next Thursday, we're back with, I'll be doing my Blunderstone Rookery album, one of my favorite albums that I got a chance to record, and popular in Europe, though I remember reading some awful reviews of it here in the States. Thank you, United States. I'll be doing that whole album, sharing some of the stories behind the songs next Thursday. And then next Saturday, I'll be doing Austin, Texas. We have my friend Carolyn Snell on the show. She's one of the most formidable tour managers. Janet Jackson, New Kids on the Block, Tiffany, Alanis Morissette, Reba McEntire, all those people. She's a woman in an industry that is dominated by men. It's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. It'll be a week from today in Austin, Texas. The following week, Friday the 25th of September, my friend Pat McGee's on the show. And then we're doing one on European time the following Saturday with my friend Josh Ritter on the show. We'll be doing Dublin, Ireland time. So those are the shows that are coming up. So we have that. We also have some new merchandise that I really want to tell you about. I'm not hard selling you on anything at all. I'm just saying we printed 3 new t-shirts, and all of them are winners. Sometimes you print a t-shirt and you know immediately that it's not a winner. I'm not a freaking fashion guy. It's a miracle when we print 3 winners, but we did. And today I put my kids through hell and back because we were back. The t-shirts finally came. And if you've ever wondered if we're actually a family store, we really are. I don't know. My kids may grow up and be like, Dad, this was such a pain. I have no idea. But I believe that if I'm working my butt off, they should be too, for better or for worse. No judgment. So today we filled a lot of orders. Our kids are filling these orders. We have 3 new t-shirts. We have a really beautiful hand-screened 18 by 24 poster for the Virtual Experience Tour 2020. If you tuned into these things, this is kind of a thing. This is kind of a historical moment. We have 150 of them. They're signed. They're numbered. They say broadcasting live to your living room, which presumably is fairly accurate. Also, in case we forgot to mention it, I wrote a freaking book. It's kind of crazy. I know a lot of you have read it. The Audible's out now. You can get it other places, but it's autographed when it comes from the store. And every time you order one for a friend or 10, It's a book. It's a freaking book. I want to share this with the world. And it's meant a lot to, and a kind of an angel gets its wings every time one of those goes out. If you didn't enjoy the music, but you're just here, we've got onesies. We've got things for people who don't like the music too. It's all here. It's a really big deal every time an order comes, and we have a free shipping code that's good for 24 hours, Hope 2020, because if you were at this show in person, you would be able to get free merchandise. So just know our family, we celebrate it. We appreciate it. I don't know, maybe it's not cool. I don't really know how else to say it, but it's a big deal when we sell merchandise, and that's why we try to make great things and share them and put them in the world. And so without further ado, I'm going to play your encore. I saw this was one of the requested songs. Mr. Right, drinking his tea. Here we go. This is a song. This is AC/DC. Stay with me. This was my answer to AC/DC for middle-aged people who like Americana music. Let's keep that my favorite place thing going. Let's sing along. Raise your glass every chorus. It's like we're in a pub in Ireland, okay? 2020 has been a year of high highs and super low lows. We're all going through it. We are together. That's a beautiful thing. Actually, my T-shirt over there, the forest green one, which is a color that I've been told is coming back, is a letter of hope that I wrote. I put it on a T-shirt because I want people to ask questions about it. What's that T-shirt say? I want them to know that we're gonna be better than we were because of this. High highs, low lows. Here we go. The one making a decision always ends up second guessed by a person less decisive who believes that they know best. I wouldn't change a thing, I would make the call again. Shame on you, you could have been a friend. Now it's hard to hear the measure. It was with me all the time, like it was in the beginning, but the past is hard to find. Do you think we'll ever feel the way we felt when we began? Do you think we'll ever feel that way again? Oh, those highs and low lows. There's only one way that the river flows. Was it comedy or tragedy? Both I would suppose. It's highs and low lows. Oh, that time in Arizona when we laughed until we cried. All the sleepers in the van, they one by one turned on the lights. And I never hear the Beach Boys without thinking about that song. What a miracle to feel like you belong. Those were highs and low lows. There's only one way that the river flows. Was it comedy or tragedy? Where did the good times go? It's highs and low lows. To those highs and low lows. Now when I received your letter, I hung my head and cried. I looked right into the mirror, and that mirror doesn't lie. I wrote 20 songs in Nashville. I wrote 20 in LA. 20 for those brothers that I lost along the way. But for every song I wrote, through every single note, I knew that I was writing songs just to give myself some hope. And I've scattered tiny rocks across an asphalt road. For some reason I just needed you to know about these highs and low lows. There's only one way that river flows. Was it comedy or tragedy? Where does the money go? It's highs and low lows. To those highs and low lows. If what you said about me, if I believed that shit were true, I would throw myself upon the mercy of the ocean blue. But most of that critique doesn't sound a thing like me. I sometimes wonder if it sounds a bit like you. Oh, those highs and low lows. There's only one way that river flows. Was it comedy or tragedy? Who really knows? It's highs and low lows. To those highs and low lows, you've had highs and low lows. I've had highs and low lows. To those highs and low lows. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I do look forward to seeing you on the road, but never mistake the connection that this is. It just feels good. Doesn't it feel good, Kirsten? It feels great. It feels so good. Thank you for being here. We've got 3 months of shows coming up. We'll do this as long as it takes and beyond. And we, of course, will play shows again. But thank you to Matt Nathanson for being my guest tonight. Thank you to Home Vibe for being our presenting partner. Thank you to my fabulous team for treating me like Johnny Cash, which I'm not, but they treat me that way, and that means a lot. It goes a long, long way. So I'm going to sing you one more song with that in mind. Song's called Last Man Standing, but it occurred to me in the recent months, everything that's going on. Good friend of mine, their kid just decided that they weren't sure what their identity was sexually. And today I asked the question, I said, oh, what do they prefer, this or that? And they were so moved that I had taken the time to ask, that it occurred to me that I don't want anybody to be left out of the message that is behind this song, this is a song about perseverance. And obviously, for some of us, you say, of course we know what last man standing means. But I've been singing last one standing because all of a sudden I realized if you can be more inclusive, why wouldn't you be? Sometimes it's not just about being too careful or something like that. It's about, why not? If you can help someone, help them, you know? If you can be better than you were, be better. So now I sing Last One Standing. It's a sing-along. It's a fun one. I invite you to sing along. I love you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Holly thanks you too. Our Prozac kitty, she's doing all right for all you cat lovers, and for you cat haters, don't take it here. I don't care. I don't care. I love cats. gonna choose sunlight. I try to be kind, bound to win a few fights before my time. Gonna make love now, ain't the future bright? We're gonna be the last ones standing tonight. Gonna be the last ones. We're gonna be the last ones. Gonna be the last ones that are standing tonight. Sing along with me, come on. Gonna make a difference, yeah. I always speak my mind, even when my nerve fails, even in the dark times. I'm gonna count the blessings, yeah. Celebrate the wins. We're gonna be the last ones standing. Yeah, gonna be last one. We're gonna be the last ones. Gonna be the last ones that are standing tonight. Be a family guy. Try to pour this heart out till the day after I die. But when I am an angel looking for a landing, oh, we will be the last ones standing. With a heart, yeah, gonna be last one. We're gonna be the last ones. We're gonna be the last ones that are standing tonight. We're gonna be last ones. We'll be the last ones. Oh, we'll be the last ones. We'll be the last ones standing tonight. Before I sing this one last time, and I sometimes fool around and tease that I'm only going to sing it one more time, and then I sing it like 50 more times. I'm only going to sing this one more time tonight. I just want you to imagine for 1 second that what you have to say matters. Whether you vote matters. Whether you voice whatever's on your mind to your spouse or your friends or your boss, it matters. Your voice matters. You all matter so very much. And I know some of you tune in to this show and you don't always get it, and I get it. I'm going to sing this for you. Sing along. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be the last ones. We're going to be the last ones. We'll be the last ones standing tonight. We're gonna be the last ones standing
Well, friends, we did it. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Thank you for tuning in, and I'd love it if you would take the time to head on over to the Kellogg Family Store at StephenKellogg.com and pick up some merchandise. We have copies of my new book, a virtual tour t-shirt that we made just for these special events, songbooks, CDs, vinyl, and a whole lot more. We've got free shipping for people who came to the show. And it's a really big deal when you take the time to go over there. I hope to be able to have that exchange with you, and we'll be packing all those packages with a lot of love. Thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. And I look so forward to seeing all of you out there again really soon.
As we look back through the looking glass, visions closer than they appear. There's so many things to be grateful for, my dear. All these objects in the mirror, objects in the mirror.